After building voice agents that have booked over 1,000 meetings for my clients in just the past 6 months and becoming a retail embedded partner, I realized I've been following the same 4-step system every single time, but I've never actually broken it down before. Today, I'm walking you through my exact methodology, the same systematic approach that powers every successful voice agent I build, whether it be for dentists or service-based businesses. This isn't about avoiding mistakes. This is about following a proven blueprint that consistently delivers results. By the end of this video, you'll have the exact same 4-step framework I use to build voice agents that actually convert. Plus, I'll share the expectation setting mistake that cost me my first client and how that hard lesson completely changed how I approach every single project since. Okay, so let's go through my voice methodology, my voice agent methodology that I use for all of my agents. The first one is really just the purpose and the script foundation, right? So it's really understanding what kind of agent are we building? Is it going to be for a dentist, more of an inbound receptionist, or is it going to be for lead generation? Now, both of these agents are dealing with different problems, right? So let's think about this in terms of problems. A dentist or dental receptionist has the problem of missed calls versus someone that we're generating leads for, let's say a real estate agent, is trying to reach out to those leads in a timely manner. So it's speed to lead, that's the problem. So really, we want to define the agent type and the goal. I would say the majority of agents is really to gather information, potentially qualify that prospect, and book them into meetings. Because at the end of the day, all business owners, regardless of whether that be a receptionist or for lead generation, want more sales. And that is typically through a booked meeting, whether that be putting someone into a dentist seat or booking them into a online meeting. From there, it's creating your core script structure. So if I bring up literally any of my voice agents, they're broken down into a few main parts. Firstly, it's the identity, who this agent is, what their purpose is. Then we have how they talk, so the conversational style. From there, I typically have a call flow, so standard guidelines of how I want the agent to handle this conversation. And this specific one, this is for outbound lead generation for my business. So you can see I have, build trust through understanding, qualify through curiosity, not interrogation. And all of these are based on sales principles. We typically have a contact info section where we're passing any variables that will change from client to client. And then we'll also typically have a key principles or a what to do and what not to do section, and a tool call section as well. Although in this case, we just have one tool. And so we use it at the end. So if you know your goal and you know the different sections of your prompt, you can come up with your core scripting structure, and this will be provided to the client. Additionally, if you have call recordings, it's a really great way to create your script and to also train your agent. And then lastly, we want to set specific measurable outcomes, which leads us to step number 2, which is setting up performance tracking. So we really want to establish key metrics. If I'm looking at an outbound lead generation campaign, there are certain key metrics that we're looking at every single time. And those are how many calls are being made. Out of those calls, how many people picked up, how many booked into a meeting, and then what's our no-show rate, and then what's our close rate. Knowing these key metrics not only sets benchmarks for yourself as a business, but it also identifies areas for improvement. For instance, if you have a high no-show rate, chances are you either didn't qualify the prospect properly, you didn't build enough urgency in that prospect, making them realize that they have a problem and they need your help, or you're not sending them any sort of nurturing content between the time that you book them until you have that meeting. Next super key thing is creating monitoring dashboards. This is good for yourself, but also for your client. So it's once we have these key metrics, now it's to create that monitoring dashboard. And you can see right here, here's a sample of one that we have for one of our clients. And really that just drives this next step, which is data-driven optimization. If you don't have these, you're going to be going based off people's feelings and what they think is right, but they could have just listened to one call and now you're making changes to the prompt. And so it's really important to have data behind all of your decisions and make data-driven decisions. Okay, the next key thing is the integration architecture planning, which is just a fancy word for saying, do they need any integrations? Are we doing calendar or CRM integrations? How is the data going to flow between these different systems? Is there going to be any handoff or follow-up sequences required? Are we doing call transfer for outbound lead generation? Are we going to be calling these contacts more than once? These are all the things that we need to think about. And this typically makes the complexity of the build a lot more when you have to pass data between these different systems. Now, lastly, I wanted to cover this fourth step, which is setting the client expectation. One of my first clients that I signed was a business that had over 100 employees, and it was for an outbound lead generation. So they're spending around like $30,000 to $40,000 a month on leads, and they wanted to use AI to qualify them. And while my AI did qualify them, the issue was that there was a misalignment between what I was delivering and what the CEO expected. The CEO really expected the AI to be able to replace a salesman entirely, be able to close clients live on the call. And so this was a really big learning lesson for me. I ended up losing this client specifically because there was a mismatch in the expectation of what I thought I was providing and what the CEO wanted. So really define your scope clearly, establish realistic timelines. And when you first start, it's a little bit hard to know what realistic timelines are, but over time, you'll get better at that, and to communicate clearly and often. Now with all of our clients, we have a Slack channel where they can post any issues that they're having with their client, with their agent. And it's one centralized place for us to be able to talk back and forth. And then from there, once you've hit all those steps, you're ready to launch your voice agent. It's just about ongoing optimization and iteration, which really comes from step 2, which is performance tracking setup. If you don't have this, it's a pretty crucial step. So you'll never really know how well your agents are performing. So I hope you got some value out of this. It's pretty much my methodology that I've been using without even realizing that I have a methodology. And if you did get value out of this, drop subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.